As twilight settled on April 9, 1865, a defining incident transpired in a modest Virginian settlement, an occurrence that would fix the future of a conflict-riven nation. Robert E. Lee, formerly honored as the Confederacy's revered commander, now faced an unavoidable reality: submission to Union General Ulysses S. Grant. But suppose this submission implied more than outright failure. Suppose it marked the zenith of intense personal trials, strategic missteps, and unwavering resolve to sustain honor despite devastating reversal? Travel with us to expose hidden chronicles of this decisive juncture in America's chronicle. Tales demonstrating how dignity, pride, and human empathy converged on that significant date. Before commencing, kindly like and subscribe to our platform to support our community. The path toward Appomattox brimmed with despair and unceasing chase. 4 harsh years of internal warfare had wounded both regions with immeasurable hardship. By April 1865, the Confederate movement was fracturing. Richmond's fall on April 3rd indicated a crucial transformation. Being the Confederate seat, its taking predicted Southern opposition's swift demise. Lee's troops withdrew westward, urgently striving to avoid Grant's nearing Federal soldiers. Circumstances for Lee's army were critical. They were frayed, hungry, and resolve was failing. A bitter winter had weakened them, and stocks were disappearing. Soldiers, once progressing proudly, now advanced with hollow eyes and hungry frames. Despite petitions from leaders including James Longstreet to consider yielding, Lee asserted that persistent resistance stayed virtuous and vital. On April 7th, Grant conveyed a sincere message entreating Lee to admit their dire stance. "I regard it as my duty to shift from myself the responsibility of any further effusion of blood," Grant wrote. This exchange displayed Grant's tactical outlook as well as his goal to stop the carnage devouring both forces. Yet Lee remained inflexible, requiring Grant's stipulations before debating submission. As hours passed and Northern troops constricted their perimeter, Lee's most reliable counselors confronted him with rising intensity. They voiced profound anxieties for his security and their fighters' existence. General Longstreet advised that continued struggle was unavailing. "The concluding phase is now unfolding," he stated, urging Lee to concede for his men's sake. Despite such advice, Lee proceeded steadfastly. He viewed surrender as discarding all he'd defended: states' autonomy and Southern self-determination. When April 9th dawned, both forces prepared for confrontation. Lee's numbers had greatly diminished. They were faded echoes of prior might. Nevertheless, in a final effort to control the situation, Lee launched an attack against Grant's reinforced positions at Appomattox Station. This action would become calamitous as Union cavalry commanded by Philip Sheridan rapidly blocked Lee's withdrawal and secured vital supplies. Sheridan's troops were pitiless. They operated with rapid precision, seizing multitudes in clashes that encircled Lee's army. Amid fighting turmoil, Lee encountered an excruciating choice: combat insurmountable challenges or pursue surrender conditions. The decision's load pressed upon him as he considered his soldiers' fate and the South's prospects. With Grant's army advancing unremittingly toward Appomattox Courthouse, victory appeared certain. Union troops moved with alacrity and without straggling, Grant later recorded. They marched with purpose, ready to terminate 4 savage conflict years. The historic Grant-Lee meeting happened at Wilmer McLean's Appomattox Courthouse residence, eternally linked to the Civil War's conclusion. Upon entering, the commander's dissimilarity was pronounced: Grant in soiled campaign attire, Lee pristine in Confederate gray, bearing a gleaming sword. This moment surpassed strategy. It vibrated with sentiment and heritage. Grant initiated by remembering their Mexican-American War encounter, establishing deference amid opposition. Both had interacted as young lieutenants. Now they opposed each other across history's bloodiest rupture. Discussing terms, Grant extended unexpected mercy, Confederate officers kept pistols and steeds. This demonstrated Grant's awareness that recovery needed compassion, not shame. He understood numerous Southern fighters simply desired home after battling for belief. Preparing to leave post-surrender, Lee paused on McLean's veranda, gazing toward his defeated forces. A moving tableau, a commander contending with loss and obligation to his men's tomorrows. Observers noted the gravity as Union officers saluted respectfully during Lee's departure to proclaim surrender. This capitulation's importance extended past military defeat. This echoed powerfully among all ranks. Fighters from opposing lines celebrated and sobbed at the tidings, an admission of collective devotion and pain spanning 4 cruel war years. Lee's exit from McLean's dwelling denoted not only bodily leave, but inward withdrawal, too. He surrendered not just leadership, but a lifestyle central to his being for years. Departing Appomattox Courthouse, intense sorrow gripped many, not only for their failed mission, but for the chief who'd motivated them through endless fights. Lee's Appomattox submission extended beyond cessation of combat. It created a model for reuniting a conflict-riven land. Though numerous commemorate this event as the Civil War's firm finale, we must grasp its complications. The intimate trials of figures like Lee facing unbeatable challenges and executing painful verdicts for integrity's sake. What history frequently omits are these mortal facets, the psychological tempests endured by commanders and infantry during America's crucial hour. Appomattox's heritage teaches that below loss exists potential for insight and restoration. Days after Lee's capitulation, intense feelings surged nationally. For countless Southerners who'd fought courageously under Lee, dejection mingled with solace. Relief that violence ended, yet anguish about tomorrow, a ruptured country confronting rebirth. In Washington, reports raced swiftly about Grant's victory. President Abraham Lincoln perceived this juncture as restorative, not punitive. His famed decree, proceed with malice toward none against prior adversaries. However, unanimity was absent. Some legislative blocs sought strict Confederate sanctions, while others argued for forbearance, revealing split perspectives on mending a splintered nation. As Reconstruction launched post-surrender, dilemmas surfaced, absorbing liberated slaves into communities while soothing embittered Southern whites stripped of their traditions. Rarely explored is how profoundly intimate this surrender felt to both generals. For Robert E. Lee, it embodied not martial failure, but personal inadequacy. A man pledged to guard his beliefs now found himself overpowered. Lee's dignity critically influenced proceedings. He resisted conceding loss despite allies urging earlier submission. His delay arose beyond strategy, from honor entwined with Southern wartime ethos. Conversely, Ulysses S. Grant engaged this instant with practicality hardened beside afflicted comrades. He knew extended strife's cost intimately. The McLean home encounter became iconic, not just warfare's close, but a paradigm of rivals converging in crisis across ideological divides. Recalling later, both leaders observed their sharp physical difference, one crisply uniformed, the other soiled from campaigning. Yet shared esteem persisted, forged through 4 harrowing combat years. This potent duality illuminated their odysseys while affirming humanity amid carnage, how antagonists find unity when decisions shape innumerable destinies. When powder settled at Appomattox, rifle clamor stilled, but Lee's yielding would resound for ages. More than martial collapse, it meant a society soul-searching. General Lee, previously the South's cherished emblem, now symbolized honors and sacrifices paradoxes. What genuinely unfolded during talk's last moments? What raced through Lee's consciousness confronting troops awaiting surrender's word? How did Grant, his tenacious foe, regard this defining instant? Appomattox's conclusion wasn't termination. It ignited reconciliation's exacting voyage, a route littered with tests, yearnings, and visions of oneness. Reflecting on this landmark, we must question, how can we uphold history's wisdom? What defines discovering nobility in loss? How may these truths steer our present?